I want to talk about something pointless.
Artwork, it is so important. I mean, there's the Mona Lisa, there's the Starry Night, there's the Liberty Leading the People, and there's the Sonic the Hedgehog 2022 key art. One of these is not like the other.
This one has boobs!
Anyway, back in days of old, Sonic the Hedgehog exuded sauce. He was the epitome of cool and, more importantly, style. It's no secret that there is an outstanding issue with the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. I mean, these renders are just the gaming equivalent of unseasoned chicken. And they're what you'll find on all of the promotional art and merchandise, and honestly, it's pretty unsettling. But it wasn't always like this. Set the clock back 30, even 20 years, and you'll find that the majority of Sonic renders were decent at their very worst. And although they were pretty inconsistent depending on the region, at the very least they all looked appealing.
Not you!
But now, I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog just looks boring, borderline unappealing to look at. Gone are the days of style and consistency, so let's discuss that. This is why Sonic renders are ugly! Okay, so, the year is 2008, and Sonic Unleashed had just hit the market too. But put aside what you might think of the game, Marzer Animation would spit out the basis for Sonic's look up until this very day. And I really like it. Whilst it's definitely the turning point for the design of this character, and things would only get uglier from here, it fits the cartoony aesthetic that the game had, fitting in with both the semi-realistic environments and Pixar-like humans, and overall, it just feels like a natural progression of Sonic's look from the adventure era up until that point. Sure, it looked cute, but it also retained an element of edge and style that this era of Sonic was known for, and the renders surrounding this game perfectly exemplify this. Let's take this render for example. Everything here, from the lighting to the posing to the little smirk, all encapsulate the style that he was known for. Everything in this render feels incredibly intentional in making him look as cool as possible. Whereas Sonic's previous designs for games like 06 or the Adventure era might have been a little bit too edgy for commercial use outside the games, this render perfectly walks the line between the two characteristics. Now compare this render to a render from the 2020s. I think I just contracted something. Yeah, this isn't great. I believe in an attempt to generalize Sonic's look across the board for commercial usage, they've tried to make him look cute, and they couldn't even get that right! Instead of intricate posing that displays Sonic's athleticism and speed, we get standing render 1, standing render 2, standing render 3, standing render 4. Instead of a cool little smirk, we get his face flaps? I don't know. He just looks like he's hiding a frog in his mouth or something. Instead of balanced proportions, we get, why are his hands so big? I think I've got a bit of a headache. Okay, so I need to confess something to you guys. I lied. I lied about Sonic Unleashed. Sonic 4 was the turning point for this franchise. The Marzer model worked in the context of Sonic Unleashed because it fit the intended visual aesthetic of that game, but here it just feels out of place. The environments here are a lot more surreal and cartoony like the classic titles, so plonking this visual interpretation of Sonic just doesn't work, and this has not only had a knock-on effect to the renders, but also the core game, because that just looks atrocious. But getting back on topic, the reason why these renders and future renders look so off-putting is because to compromise, SEGA have attempted to make the character appear more cute. So they've lightened the renders up, but have also made him less vibrant, ridding Sonic of any intricate lighting nor posing. This is an attempt at maintaining the charm of the classic games, whilst also utilising the Marzer model, and it just does not work. So what we're left here is just a husk of the original character, at least from a visual perspective. He's all cute, no cool, But even then, he's not even really that cute. He's quite off-putting, actually. And this would eventually become the norm, because it's easier to manage a standardized aesthetic for the character, rather than changing it up drastically for every new title. And so, unfortunately, these unholy design characteristics would only follow suit to other characters in the franchise, like an infectious disease. Every character now has these weird lips and desaturated colors, and the posing is really odd and quite awkward if you ask me. Like, he's just standing there, menacingly! Even as recent as Sonic Frontiers, all the character renders are really just bizarre because they're not cute, nor are they even really cool. They just fail on all fronts. I especially don't like the changes they've made to Knuckles in recent years. His head is just too flat now, and his dreads just don't look nearly as in proportion as they used to be. It's just jarring because whilst he's proportionally gotten bigger everywhere else, his head just looks smaller and honestly quite ugly. So, where do we go from here? Personally, I believe that SEGA and Sonic Team need to re-evaluate these renders, leaning more into the element of style rather than safety and cuteness. Because whilst the Marza model was fantastic in the context of Unleashed, it's now just been reduced to a hollow safe shell of what Sonic is. Also, I want to add that SEGA Hardlight understands this, at least to an extent, because the recent renders for Dream Team look much better. Whilst the posing and the lighting might not be anything special, even just changing the model up and increasing the saturation is a step in the right direction. And I think Sonic has had too many of those. Whew, I think I've talked about Sonic renders for so long that I am clinically insane. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have anything you want to add to this discussion, including renders that you don't like or any other points, then feel free to comment down below because I am really interested in this topic. Anyway, if you want to see a video of me talking about Sonic the Hedgehog clones, then you can click over here. But that's it from me. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, but you've heard that one on YouTube a million times. Alright, ta-ta for now.